Hi, this lesson is on Article 14 of the Belgic Confession, which you can see is entitled The Creation and Fall of Man and His Incapability of Doing What is Truly Good. Now this article, so this is Article 14. This article starts by saying that that God created man from the dust of the ground, from the dust. And indeed, you can read that in Genesis 1 and 2, that God created man from the dust. So that, in a sense, that starts us off with a pretty significant dose of humility. However, if you're reading in Genesis there, and you look at Genesis 1, verse 26 and following, then you'll see that God created man to be his image. So although he has a very humble beginning, dust, he has a lofty position and place in God's creation. Namely, he is the image of God. Now, what does that mean? Well, the Article 14 goes on to say what that means. It says, we believe that God created man of the dust from the ground, made and formed him after his own image and likeness, good, righteous, and holy. Okay, so three qualities here: good, righteous, and holy. Now, as someone who is good, righteous, and holy, he could do the will of God. He could do the will of God. He had no problem with obeying God, with doing his will. As it goes on to say, his will could conform to the will of God in every respect. So he could perform the will of God. However, he used his free will. Man was created with a free will. Originally, he had a free will. He doesn't anymore. Okay, we need to be clear on that. We're going to get back to that later. But he was created with a free will, but he used his free will to listen to the devil. And so we have the great fall into sin. He used his free will, he used his ability to choose to do good or to choose to do evil, to listen to the devil. And he fell from his excellency, his high position. He fell into sin. Now, fallen man is still a man, okay? Fallen man, we need to understand that fallen man is still a man. And in some respects, he still bears the image of God. But the image is broken. Image is broken. You could compare it to taking a mirror and shattering it. If you look at your image in that mirror, you can see something of yourself, but it's completely broken and distorted. It's something like that. The image of God in man is completely broken, shattered, and distorted. And so, fallen man has an enslaved will. An enslaved will. He is enslaved to the devil, enslaved to Satan. And the will of man ever directs man away from God. And the only way for that to be changed is by the regeneration by the Holy Spirit. We need to be completely renewed. All right? So and that really does change things. The regeneration by the Holy Spirit really does change things. you could say that man as created, talking now about the will, created man had a free will. He could choose to do right. He could choose to do wrong, and in fact, he did choose to do wrong. Fallen man has an enslaved will, enslaved to Satan. Then regenerated man, so the Christian, doesn't have a free will, but a freed will. A will that has been liberated. Liberated from bondage to the devil, liberated unto the obedience to Christ, but yet not not free, not like it originally was, but freed, set free from the bondage to the devil, and liberated to begin obeying God. But we, of course, still sin. We, by the work of the Holy Spirit, we obey God, but our old nature still tends to crop up its head, and we still sin. What will it be like when we are glorified? When we are in the new heaven, on the new earth, we will have a bound will. We will only obey. It'll be impossible for us ever to sin again. And that is definitely something to look forward to. So there you have a few comments on Article 14, specifically then about the will of man and what we were capable of, what we were incapable of, and what we now become capable of again, obeying God, and what our will be like when we are in glory, bound only to praise and glorify God in everything that we do, and in that way to reflect perfectly the image of God.